Hello lovely people and very welcome to my first digital painting tutorial here on YouTube. I'm so glad that you found my video, my channel, among all the thousands of other tutorials out there. It's such an honor actually. So I hope that you will learn something from this video, hope that you will stick around for a while and also for future videos as well. And yeah, let's get started and let's have some fun. So, my name is Lukas Diepold. I work as a digital artist for video games since quite a while now, and I'm turning 30 soon, so in roughly 1 year, and I thought like in this year I really want to level up my skills a little bit further. So I was setting up myself a challenge where I want to focus on one subject, on one topic each month of the year. To do studies, sketches, paintings, to figure out how this a certain subject work and to be able to paint it in a proper way or in a way I prefer the most in my style and be a master of this topic in the end of the month, or at least level up my skills on a certain degree. Yes, in my opinion, January is the coldest month, at least here in Germany where I live, and so I thought let's start the year, let's start this challenge, this tutorial series with snow. Alright, you see I prepared here a digital painting of a rock already. If you would like to know how to paint rocks in a style like I do, in a more stylized way, I'm going to cover that in another tutorial over the year. And if you're interested in further tutorials, I do future tutorials, and also would like which month I would cover what, then write it down in the comments, let me know, and subscribe this channel for future videos. Okay, what we are going to do here is cover this little rock with the surface of fresh powder snow. We are also going to cover the ground, but we are focusing more on the rock itself, on this layer of snow on top of it. Okay, the first thing I like to start with normally is a rough undersketch. It has nothing to do with not being brave enough to paint in color immediately. It's more like, for me, it's more like the first step into planning a painting. I think about composition, I think about shapes and how they interact with each other. So just be a little bit more certain what are you doing. Have a little undersketch first. So I'm starting here, sketching my surface, my layer of snow on the rock. Just very rough, no details here really, just to determine how thick this layer is going to be. We would like to have quite a thick layer, because I want to show you how to paint snow, right? We don't need just just a little bit. Let's go all in and think about the shapes. You see here, I don't do very smooth surfaces because snow is never that flat, that even. It has little bumps. It's also depending on the object it's laying on underneath, right? So if snow would fall on a hill, of course the hill would still be shown, just covered with snow. So think of it like it's repeating the kind of surface it's laying on. Also what I'm doing here is to try, I try that the how to say, the borders of the snow are floating down a little bit on the sides of the rock. Maybe like melting a little bit, like interacting with the rock in a proper way. Also don't forget the ground. For a little bit more realism, we want the whole piece here covered in snow, or at least parts of it, like maybe a first spring day where some of the snow melted away already, but still thick layers of it laying on the rock. Okay, don't forget little parts here and there to just give it a little bit more, yeah, a more special vibe. Okay, I think that looks quite good for our first undersketch. You don't need more. Don't worry too much on details here, really. It's just for having a first plan in your mind. What I do here now is using the lasso tool and just blocking in the base colors. I know many people think snow is white, but snow is actually just a very light reflective material. So it's reflecting the light you have. And normally when you see snow on the daylight, the sun is shining. So it's reflecting the sky and the sun. So let's go for a very bright blue color here for just blocking in. Just create the shapes here like that with the lasso tool, with the fill tool, filling it, and let's, you know, honestly, let's worry about details and shapes later on. We just want to have some colors first to work with, and yeah, we will adjust it in a second. By the way, I realized a little bit too late, my Photoshop is in German. I hope that is not a too big problem. I try to change it in the future. I don't really know how to do that, but maybe if I explain, most of the things should be clear anyways. And if you got any further questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments. I'm happy to help you out here. Okay, never forget the ground. Just fill in all these little color shapes, these snow shapes. Yes, just like that. Looking good already. Perfect. Yeah, here that should be a little bit more connected. It looks a little weird still. But all in all, I like it. Yes, great. Okay, second step is done. Maybe let's smooth this out a little bit more here. Okay. And here the connection looks a little bit weird as well. Me likey. Perfect. Okay, what we do next is creating a clipping mask, and we are focusing on light and shade now, very roughly. So let's choose our big round soft brush, choose a color which is more dark, maybe just a darker blue, a little bit direction to violet maybe. Never use for light and shadow the same color tone than the normal color, than the actual color, to give it just a little bit more variance in it. Okay, and now we are focusing on the shade. So the sun, the light source should come from the upper left, hitting the snow from the upper left, and creates shades on the right side of the rock. So keep in mind that this snow is not a flat layer. It's actually it got some volume to it, right? So you see that the borders in direction to the rock on the right side, they are also covered in shade, because they are kind of wrapping around the rock to the side of the rock which is laying in shade, which is darker. So just some shade here, very roughly. Like I said, we are worrying about detail later on. For now, just for you that it's clear in your mind where is the light coming from, where the shades, the drop shadow should fall, to determine this kind of things, right? By the way, please don't mind my language. Actually, I'm not a language guy at all. Even my mother tongue, German, I'm not able to speak like a native speaker properly. And I speak English actually on a daily basis. My wife's mother tongue more or less is English, and still I'm not able to talk in a very proper way, so I hope it's fine for you. I hope you get what I'm saying, and if not, then I would be very sad, actually. No, just kidding. Okay, let's continue here. Let's add some texture on our snow in the next step. So I just chose here a very very default texture brush, like a dry media brush. So opacity is still a little bit high here. Let's lower the opacity a little bit more, and then go with a dark blue on the shadow side of the snow. Just press the pen here and there, adding some texture, just that it doesn't look too clean. It should look a little bit more, how I say, bulky? Is that the right word? If not, then not. I'm sorry for it. Okay. The same thing you want to do with the light, of course, as well. And you see our bright sides of the snow are already quite bright in direction to white. So let's choose for our texture pure white this time, so that you can see the texture properly. Just adding here and there, make it a little bit roughen up the surface of the snow actually. Never forget the ground. I cannot stretch that often enough. Just like that. Yes. Alright, I'm happy for now. Just one thing still bothering me. Do we fix it now or later? Okay, let's start with the next step. What we're going to do now is taking our smudge finger, hiring the strength or increasing the strength to a level of maybe 50 to 70. It's more or less up to you. And now let's blend the snow into the rock. All the snow stuff is on a different layer, of course, but you can still let the snow fade out a little bit in the direction of the rock. Just that it's really melting down, getting more transparency at the edges, and yeah, just let it look a little bit more natural. Don't forget the ground, especially not the ground this time, because here the snow is melting the most, and get in touch with the grass in this case. Smudge, smudge, smudge. You can never smudge too much. My grandpa always said, actually. No, he didn't. He doesn't even think digital art is real art. I was showing him once a painting of, I don't know, I found it somewhere on ArtStation. A very nice portrait, looked exactly like traditional painted. And I showed him and asked him, do you think that is art? He said like, I don't know, depends on how it's created. I said like digitally. He said like, no, then it's not really art for me. Because my grandpa thinks you just give a few lines of code, press enter, and your digital art piece is there, ready to print. That is not art for him. Obviously it would not be art for me as well. Okay. I was figuring out an issue here, that some shapes of snow are connected in a weird way, but actually the different parts of the rock are laying in front of each other, right? So I create a shape with a lasso tool here, and the front shape, the front snow, should be more lit by light than the back one. So let's grab our soft round brush again, pick a very bright color and just go there on the border of the selection to create more or less a sharp edge here. We can smoothen it out later with a smudge finger again. Now invert the selection and do the same with the shade of the other part of the rock. And here I have the feeling we have the same kind of problem, so a little bit shade on the left, invert the selection, a little bit more bright on the right. That should do it. Much better. Yes. But this little thing there. Okay. Yeah, good to go for now. Looking good. So now we do something. I told you in the beginning that this powder snow got a little softness, a certain softness to it. What I do now is grabbing my sand brush, which works for snow actually the same way it does, like it does for sand. Pick our bright highlight color of the snow and now go on the most lit up by light spot. No, let's go to the area which is most lit up by light. This way. And let's just add some softness to it. More is less here because we can remove later anyways. Just make sure that you have a connection from snow to the softness, to the powder. It should not look weird. We can smudge it after that a little bit, but let's just add the powder, the particles. Just like a mild wind was blowing parts of the soft snow away. Yes. It makes it more lifelike, you can say. Here on this little rock as well. Here, all lit up by light. Just like that. Soft, soft, soft. Yes, exactly like that. A little bit more here. And I don't want to say never forget the ground, but never forget the ground. Also in this case, add some powder here and there. That's never bad. All right. So we could erase some of the powder snow now, of course. That's what the eraser is for, right? But in my opinion, in my experience, we go the smudge tool here, the smudge finger, is doing a much better job because you can smooth it out a little bit. You can just decrease the area of the powder, smudge it, press it a little bit in direction to the snow, to the rock. Yeah, it's just looking better. Okay. think a little bit more smudge would be nice here and there. Actually, snow never really, especially not the soft snow, the powder snow, doesn't have a real hard edge somewhere. So I'm just smoothing out the edges here and there, little bumps, little holes, that it looks uneven. It should look natural. We're going for a stylized style here, but not something like Candy Crush, you know. I always try to reach a style more in direction of League of Legends, for example, or Blizzard if you want. A little smooth here, a little smooth there. Okay guys, I'm focusing here a little bit more on the dark parts of the snow again, because some of the areas are quite much in the dark parts of the rock. So I just darken it here a little bit, also on the snow, to add a little bit more texture manually this time. Yes, here. It's going in a good direction. Okay. Okay, same problem fixing like before. We have our two areas here, our two shapes connected too weirdly with each other, creating a shape with a lasso tool here, and with our round soft brush add a little light on this side. No, that was the wrong. More like that. Yes. Brighten up, invert the shape and add a little shade behind the selection, just like that. That should do already. Yes, exactly. Alrighty. Woohoo! Okay, you know guys, this rock covered in snow, it reminds me on this, I don't know actually what it's called, but on Christmas my grandma always did this chunky pieces of, what do you call it, Lebkuchen? Is it a thing? I don't know the name in English. It's kind of a Christmas cookie dough, very thick but not too sweet, and covered by a layer of what is it called? This sugar polish? Oh boy, I have no idea. But it looks exactly like that. I get hungry now. Okay. So just adjusting some brightnesses and darknesses here, creating a clipping mask on the rock again, and where the snow is touching the rock, I adjust the color a little bit. I make the rock look a little bit more bright and bluish, so the difference between value and color of rock and snow is not too big. It just looks more smooth and more cool. And that's all what we want, right? We want that it looks cool. Little detail here, detail there. Oh guys, if you could see my setup here, my recording setup. Imagine a laundry dryer. I mean this kind of thing you can fold and you can set up and hang your wet laundry on it, then a box on it, and on this box my new microphone. It looks so pathetic. Oh my god. And then I was recording and had the old microphone from my webcam attached to the computer. And I was recording with my new microphone and the sound was so bad. I got so sad for a moment, and then I realized, oh, I just need to change the device and in the settings, and now the sound is acceptable. I hope. Let me know in the comments, guys. I need to know feedback. That is the first time I'm doing this, right? So please, I'm always happy for criticism. Okay, let's have a little bit extra glow to it. Just with our round soft brush, quite big, quite low opacity, having some very, very decent whites here and there, just for a little glow effect. The best thing would be putting them or painting them on your little powder, on your little particles we created earlier. So the surface looks a little bit too flat, so what I'm doing now is trying to create a little bit more texture in it, but not from a brush this time, more like hand painted. And obviously that looks much too strong right now. It's not really fitting, but I'm also trying things out here. Let's just give it a try and see how it looks. Just some weird shapes, sometimes a little bit like a crack or something, sometimes just holes here and there, just a little variation. I think that will do. What you don't forget, guys? The ground. Exactly, also the ground needs some texture to it. And now we can move it out. We can erase parts of it with a soft round brush, just putting a painting mode to erase or delete, and bring it to a, what I want to say. Make it look cool. Best advice. Guys, if you would like to know how to paint like a pro, just paint cool. No bullshit, just paint cool. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. That turned out quite well. So in the end, you just go all over your painting. You check it out for some little mistakes, little errors you like to adjust. For example, here working with brightness and shade a little bit, smoothing out things, just working on some areas I'm not totally happy with. Here's a too sharp edge, and here that should be it, right? Actually, I'm not sure if that was the best idea to start the year with January, because we have end of January now already, and nobody's in the mood for snow anymore. Nobody wants to see snow. But I hope people would like to watch my video anyways. Because no bullshit, February is also sometimes covered in snow. I mean, not the February itself, but in February or during February, the world, at least the part of the world laying in the borders of Germany. Oh boy. I'm talking bullshit. Let's focus on the video again. Okay. So, let's add some little extra thing. Maybe just a stick, like a stick sticking in the snow at the base color, a quite dark brown, not too saturated. And now add some light and shade. Light from the left, obviously, shade from the right, or in the right, because right now against the dark background it's not really visible. We need to set some rim lights, a little bit detailed here, right? So you will see that I use the lasso tool quite often. I try to find a good balance between sharp edges from lasso tool and painterly smooth edges painted manually or with the support of the smudge tool, the smudge finger tool. Yes, like that. It needs a little bit more rim light, maybe some little quite sharp white rim lights. Let's try that out. That should be enough, not more thickness, really just quite thin, and not, that's also quite important, don't create a rim light which is covering the whole side of a figure, of an object, especially if the rim light is very bright, just here and there, some parts. It will look much more natural actually. Now the connection between branch and snow. Just add a little bit snow color with a high opacity, no, with a low opacity, with a high transparency on the branch. Now a little bit snow on it, that the snow is not too clean cut from the branch, from the stick. You can use a smudge finger or the soft brush, actually it doesn't matter really, it's up to you. But if you would like to practice some stuff with a smudge finger, go ahead, be my guest, feel free. Okay. And that's it, guys. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of the first part of my snow digital painting tutorial, and see you in the next one.